Well, here we are. This is the end of a year-long experiment. See all this here? My wife hates the beard. So I gotta tell her it's like kissing a raccoon's butt, a minty butt after I finish brushing my teeth. She doesn't much care for it. However, I grew all this because about a year ago I read a science article where some researchers had looked into what is the biological and evolutionary purpose of human body hair. I mean, we have it in such odd places, you know, a patch on your head, a patch on your face if you're a guy, some armpit hairs and hairs down there. And these researchers who were getting paid some fine money, they did their experiment and concluded that they couldn't figure out why we have these patches in these places. So I said, well, let me do some research and see if I can figure it out and maybe give them a clue. They looked at how does a beard keep your face warm, with the assumption that our Ice Age hunters or whatnot needed a full beard to protect their face from the Ice Age. But they found that a beard does not really contribute to the warmth. Yeah, I'm going to get started here. It's my wife's birthday. So everybody out there, give Pamela Hogue a big shout out. Happy birthday, darling. Your husband's coming back. And you won't have to kiss a raccoon's butt anymore, minty or otherwise. Handy tool. Got several. We're meaning business. But anyway, I said let me see what this is, because the researchers could find no warming capability, apparently, really, in human hair and the hair patterns. I mean, why have hair on your head, face, groin area? Let's get started while I'm talking. You're gonna do it fun. And make sure you have a newspaper down so you don't make a mess. What I found was that they were looking at the wrong thing. It's not about keeping you warm. It's about keeping things cool, which if you think about it, we evolved out of Africa, pretty warm climate. And what I found is that this stuff wasn't so much about keeping me warm as it was about keeping me cool in the hot weather. Yeah, I tend to, something a lot of people forget to do. If it's not working in this direction, go 180 degrees and look the other way. I do that all the time. People wonder how I come up with unique solutions all the time. That's how. You're looking here, I'm going to look over there. But at any rate, what I found, well, she's going to be glad to have her husband back, is that this hair, when you sweat, and the kinkier it is, the better it works. Beard hair is fairly kinky compared to my straight white boy hair. The kinky hair, or hair period, draws the sweat off your face. And instead of it dripping down and running down your face, it's actually quite comfortable. It goes into your curly beard hairs, and when you get the slightest breeze, it cools your face off. Now, what I also noticed was that the kinkier the hair, the better the cooling, which makes evolutionary sense. As our ancestors migrated northwards, they didn't need all that cooling factor, and indeed they needed quite the opposite. And the curl is apparently just a hangover from earlier evolution, where you know, coming out of Africa, well, it makes sense that curly hair, tight hair, really helps wick away the sweat, and it goes into the hair and stays there, and the slightest breeze cools you off. And then for guys, of course, in the groin area, that also makes sense. You want a high sperm count, you better keep things cool. Well, evolutionarily, it now makes sense. This hair is not about heating or warming the body. It's about keeping things cool. It's like the brain. You know, sunstroke. I do believe that the kinkier your hair is on top, as long as it's not too long and blocking all the wind, the better you are in a hot, humid environment. This doesn't work as well. The straight hair doesn't wick near as good, nor does it offer as much protection. There again, that would come from needing less cooling effect in a northern climate. But now I've got to dig up those researchers, do some Googling. Maybe y'all want to do it, because they were getting paid good money to go up a blind alley. But they were going up the wrong alley, looking at warming. Now, speaking of warming, there again, you would think if it's all about cooling, then during the cold weather, it wouldn't make much difference. But what I found is that it acts as, kinkier hair works better, as a windscreen. Reduces the wind chill. It might not actually increase the surface temperature of your skin per se, but when I'd be out there in the cold weather, my cheekbones, which I kept unshaven, or kept shaving, man, that wind, you'd feel it hard on your cheeks, make them sting, turn red. But where the beard was, it cut the wind back enough to where, okay, it's at least better. And not quite, didn't feel quite as cold, though according to the researchers, it doesn't contribute to the warming. And the fact is, beard hair and whatnot is, unless you grow it super thick, really doesn't trap that much air. And air is the primary insulator, with furs and feathers and things like that. About the air captured. Now we're getting down to more what I used to look like about a year ago. Gotta get me a brush. I still trim this to the Marine Corps standard of no hair past the edge of the upper lip. I do let it go past here. Not that anal about it. But I hate eating hair. And old habits. Uh-oh. Some of my razor's starting to give out a little bit. The mustache has to stay. My wife says she married me with this. If I shave it off, she won't know who I am. And she shoots stranger in the house. So I keep the mustache, save my own life. At any rate, shows you what kind of person I am. I'd take and grow a beard and keep it on for a year simply to observe what went wrong in the researchers' studies. Because they put all this money into this research, why have beards? What's the evolutionary advantage? They were looking at warming. And lo and behold, everything I got points to no, it's not about keeping you warm, these different patches. It's about cooling areas down. And the kinkier your hair, the better it works. Which, from an evolutionary standpoint, makes perfect sense if you go with the pretty much proven fact that our ancestors came out of Africa. Warm, hot climate. They needed that to pull the sweat away, to provide more cooling, not provide warmth. And that's what the researchers missed. They were looking in the wrong direction. It's kind of like our researchers for dark matter are looking for flashes of light in tanks. Well, if it's dark matter, chances are you ain't going to see a flash of light. Don't know what you'll see, but I don't think it's going to be light. Something else. Well, at any rate, happy birthday to the wife. I'm not going to torture you with the razors and scraping, but if any of y'all know the researchers I was talking about, go ahead and send them a link. Tell them, look guys, you're looking in the wrong place. Now they can go get a new grant and a lot more government money. Buy some sensors and probes, and they'll find that I think they'll find what I observed, that it's a lot more of it has to do with, a lot of this hair has to do with cooling the human body in the right places. You know, keeping the sperm count up by keeping the gonads cool. By the way guys, that's why everything hangs on the outside, because if it was on the inside, they'd cook. And it does offer some benefit in cold weather, simply because it's helps reduce wind chill. If I'd have let it grow all over my face the way it wanted to, well, not only would my Pam, my wife, probably have left me, but I might have been a bit more comfortable when the cold winds blew. At any rate, that's that. Time for me to finish the job. Get rid of the last bit of scuzz. And y'all have fun out there.